Welcome to Topper Talk, your number one Western Kentucky athletics podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Moffitt, and I'm joined by co-host Tyler Bailey. Hilltopper Nation, whether it's happening on the hill or on the road, grab those red towels, stand up and cheer, because it's up next on Topper Talk. Welcome back, and thank you for downloading and listening to another episode of the Topper Talk podcast. As always, you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Topper_Talk. Head on over to our YouTube channel. Give us a follow over there at Topper Talk Podcast. And newly, we are now on TikTok at Topper.Talk. Go ahead, slide over there, give us a follow. Check out some of the videos we put up, just trying out something new, trying to expand our reach and our audience. As always, share those episodes, tell a friend, send those links out to people if you want to, give us a good rate and review on those episodes. We'd appreciate any and all feedback. As always, I've got Tyler here with me. Tyler, you ready to jump into this episode?
Man, I am. This right here is going to be a good one.
Yeah, we've got a good friend of the podcast with us, and this interview has been a long time coming. I mean, since, back near the spring game, we've been talking to this guy, trying to get him on, trying to sort out the just the right proper clearance to get you here. But we've got you here now, so welcome to the show, former WKU punter, Mr. Tom Ellard. Tom, thank you for joining us, and welcome.
Anytime, guys. Happy to be a part of it. And, it did take a while to get me here, but, we eventually got here in the end.
All right, so Tom, from Melbourne, Australia, tell us about your start in football and what got you interested in the game and wanting to play it at the next level.
Yeah, so I sort of always grew up playing Australian rules football, and I got the opportunity to actually go to that next level. And I played a bit of semi-professional for a while, and I think I played it for 8 years at the top, like semi-top level, and COVID hit, and I sort of reevaluated what I wanted to do, and I hadn't really thought about that process, so I retired from my sport, and I was sitting on the couch one day watching. My dad's a Raiders fan, and I'm a Cowboys man, so we're watching the game, giving each other a bit of slack, and Mum's like, "You could be that guy on the field," and I'm like, "What guy? There's about 30 dudes on the field," and she goes, "The one that kicks the ball really high and fast." So I ended up getting in contact with a company called Pro Kick Australia back home, and reached out to them and just said, "Can I have a trial? Like, let's go." I went down for my trial and I hit one ball. Like, it was probably the best ball I've ever hit in my life, and that was it. They said, "Yep, done, signed. Let's get you over there. We'll get you training, we'll get you working out, and then we can go from there." So I sort of just followed the pathway of Pro Kick, and eventually, I think it was 6 months I was training before I got a scholarship to come over.
Now, you followed John Haggerty here at WKU. Did that have any influence in your decision to come to Western Kentucky, or how did that process play out to where you narrowed down to us and ended up coming to Bowling Green, Kentucky?
Yeah, I sort of did my research. I'd never met Hags before, and he's a lovely guy, and his wife Spencer's awesome, and his little fella's awesome as well. I think he's got another one on the way too. I'd never met him, but I looked at his stats, and I knew that he was unreal. He's probably one of the best punters I've ever seen, and the way I saw it was obviously eyes would be on WKU, and for them to have enough, them to have enough faith in me to come and back him up was enough for me to say, yeah, let's do
it. Now in 2022, you played 13 out of 14 games, only not appearing versus Rice because we didn't punt at all. We shut them out completely. You punted 43 times for an average of 42.4 yards. 18 were inside the 20, and 6 were 50 or more yards. What was that first season like on the hill?
Challenging, actually. I think my first game against Austin Pay, averaged like 45, I think it was, by memory. And you sort of walk off the field, and I'm like, this isn't too bad. Like, it's pretty comfortable in what I'm doing. And then as the season went on, I sort of realized I'm a little bit older, and the body started getting a little bit sorer. So it was an interesting year. It was a big learning curve for me personally, just on, how quick the game is, and how many rules there are in the game, and what I can and can't do, and all that sort of stuff. But I over-exceeded what I thought I'd do. I never thought I would do the things I did in my first season. I honestly, with Wes Paul there, who is now at Oklahoma State, who's a very, very good punter, I thought I'd be backing him up because he had been there for 2 years. And Coach Helton had enough faith in me and gave me the opportunity, and I took it, and I never looked back. So yeah, it was an interesting year. I wish we beat North Texas to get into the championship game, but we didn't. But that's the way football is. It's up and down sometimes. So, but overall, I thought the first year was amazing. I loved every second of it. The coaches were awesome. The guys were amazing. And yeah, it was a great experience.
I was going to ask you about your experiences. Was there any particular game that stood out to you? I mean, I know we had a good trip to Indiana. We had that blowout victory of FIU, the North Texas game. You talked about the UTSA game. We can talk about, was there any particular game or moment that just stands out to you like, wow, this is awesome, or anything crazy that happened that you can share?
Yeah, I mean, I've had a few sort of moments over the 2 years at WKU where, I've left fans going, what the heck? How has he done that? Like the sidestep at UTSA was probably one of my most memorable ones, where the guy tried to tackle me and I shrugged him and kept running. And the Troy game as well, I did that against Troy and left the dude with broken ankles. But I think the best one, like today, would definitely have to be Indiana, when my parents were there, and I think it was my second punt, and I was on the 25 and I flipped the field and it dropped inside the 5. So that was probably the best memory I've had, doing it in front of my parents, and also having the crowd scream at me that Indiana's got the better Australian. And then obviously I've gone and done that and run straight to their little cheer squad behind and going, sorry, what'd you say? So I think that was the best. That's the best because, having mum and dad there and being able to do that in front of them, and mum record it too, was, it's pretty, stuff like that. You don't forget that as a kid, having them watch you, and then, have your family back home watching on TV too, going, wow, I don't know anything about football, but the commentators said wow, so we're saying wow. So, but nah, that UTSA, you can't beat that. That was awesome.
Oh, I bet, man. Now, you were named to the Conference USA All-Freshman team. You're also a College Football Network honorable mention freshman All-American, and that ended the 2022 season.
Yeah, and then, jumping into the 2023 season, a lot of expectations coming into this year. But I want to talk about this year, but the first game I want to talk about is game 1, the South Florida game this year. And you and I have talked once about this before, but one, it was super hot that day. It was probably had to be 100 plus down there on the field. It was hot in the shade just watching the game. But there was one particular drive when we punted and you caught the ball and you rolled way out near I believe it was our sideline on that side of the field, the new side, rolled way out. Almost looked like you were thinking about running. Was there a green light given to Tom? Like if it was there, could you have gone? Were you thinking about going, or what was going on there with that rollout?
Yeah. There's a few instances where I've sort of gone, do I tuck it and run? Or I think the style that we did this year, it sort of gave me that leverage. If I did see an opening, go for it. But at the same time, it was sort of 50-50 on that. I know the play you're talking about, and I looked at him, and I think the first couple of plays before that, they were putting hard blocks on me. And the first dude put me square on my ass after the play had done. So I sort of was eyeing it off, and I'm like, I'll test him a little bit just to see how close this guy gets. And he turned, but then he turned back to me. So I'm like, yeah, nah, I'll just kick it just to be safe. I ain't going to mess around with Helton telling me off on the sideline, so I'll just kick the ball.
All right, so the game at Ohio State, 103,000 people. How was that environment down there on the field?
I mean, it was, it's hard to say because when I was out on the field, I got a thing when I go out, I sort of zone in. I block out all the outside noise. So I didn't really hear that much when I was out there, but standing on the sideline, if you want to talk to someone, you have to literally be like right here talking to them. You can't hear anything. the ground was shaking. Like it was an insane feeling playing in front of that many people. And I wish I had punted a little bit more, but the offense was running a fair bit, which was good. But you know, I think I had 4 or 3 punts. It was still an insane feeling just being out there. And you know, you sort of sit back, even though we lost pretty badly. You sort of sit back and go, you know, this is 1 in a million. You know, you're never going to be able to experience something like this again. So yeah, it was amazing. Ohio State fans they're not rude. Surprisingly, they're not screaming stuff at you on the sideline that you don't want to hear. They're just diehard Ohio State fans, and they want their team to win. So it was an awesome experience, really good.
Yeah, I'd agree, especially with the fans part. I was down there. I was in Columbus, and then I was down on the sideline as well. I can't remember if I saw was in close contact with you when I was on the sidelines with the passes, but awesome experience, man. That stadium, that just the tailgating environment was just amazing. Now that game also provided us another one of those, those athletic clips of you. You talked about a couple of the season before, but there was another play against Ohio State. They sent a blitz, almost got to you. I can't recall, you kind of sidestepped this guy, avoided, taking a big loss, and still, kind of pulled the kick down, evaded the guy, still got the kick off. Like what goes through your mind in a moment like that? And then after the play, after the game, that clip was going wild. Pat McAfee retweeted it. I'm pretty sure that For the Brand was out there. You just got all kinds of social media love, even in a loss. What was that like for you in the moment, and then after the game when you're getting all that recognition for that awesome play?
Yeah, I think it was against Troy. I'm pretty sure. Was it Troy? Yeah, I think it was Troy. And we obviously, because we played them the year before, and we knew they were coming. So I can't explain what goes through their special team coordinator's mind, because he just wants to kill the punter. I don't know what I've done to him, and I apologize if I've done anything to him. But I think it was the first snap of the game, and the snap it wasn't a bad snap. It was a little bit top right, but I looked, and as soon as I looked, this dude had already cut the shield, and I'm like, oh no. So it's a natural instinct for me to sort of, fake the kick and get away from it. And then the next thought through my mind was, do I go for first down? And if I'd have gone for first down, it would have been in front of their sidelines too. So I could have got up and given their coaches a fair spray. But I saw that, I think it was their tight end. He had those red eyes on him, and I'm going, yeah, I'm gonna try like snap banana kick this, and it got away with it. Don't ask me how it rolled that way, but I tried to make it roll that way. And Pat McAfee got on board, and all the boys got on board. But it's just instinct, I guess. Like as a punter, you got to have that instinct. You're never going to have a clean punt in a game, and if you do your homework on the side that week, you know that they're going to rush. So they over rush. That's their downfall. They're going to rush, but they rush too hard, which gives me that time, if I do want to sidestep them, to take that sidestep, because they're just going to run 100 miles an hour at you, and you can step back and then away you go, which is what happens. So it was one of my better punts, I guess, for the day. But no, that was another one where, just instinct for me just to get it done.
You're muted.
I unmuted myself. I apologize. After the game versus UTEP, it was announced that you'd be setting out the game versus New Mexico State University due to a personal matter. Later became disclosed that eligibility may have been the reason for that. What would you like to share and say about that situation?
Yeah, I mean, from a personal standpoint, so everyone was asking, obviously, what's wrong? And I just kept saying, I'm injured. And then obviously someone leaked it. So it got out into the public. And it was a weird situation. So back home, I did university for a semester, but I withdrew from the university because I was playing my sport. So I didn't have time. So I thought I was part-time because of that. I didn't do enough credits. So I withdrew. I didn't think there was any issue of it. I didn't try to hide it. That was the main thing. I didn't try to hide it. Didn't try to do anything shady. And obviously, I think it was an ESPN reporter questioned WKU about it 2 years down the track. and they brought me in, and I told them, yeah, like it was part-time. I don't think it was anything of it. I withdrew. I was playing my sport. So WKU did the right thing, and I can't speak more highly on how they handled it. We withdrew me, obviously, from the team. So they didn't get in trouble. I didn't get in trouble. We contacted NCAA, went through the process, contacted the university back home, and even though I enrolled him full-time, even though I didn't do the credits to be deemed as a full-time student, I enrolled him full-time. So my clock started back then. So I lost my eligibility for D1. And yeah, I mean, it sucks a bit because I didn't think I was doing the wrong thing. I didn't mean to do the wrong thing, and WKU handled it the way they did, and I can't be more grateful for the way they've handled it. And it was just an honest mistake, and yeah, that's where it's at. I mean, it happens, and unfortunately, the mistake that I made, and I didn't mean to make the mistake, it cost me my eligibility. So it's all been sorted out now, and worse things could have happened. But I'm now attending a Division 2 school because I can still play Division 2 at Northern State University in South Dakota. So it's not a bad situation for me because I still get to continue my football career and degree, and still try to aim for obviously that dream of NFL. So yeah, it sucked a bit, but in the outcome, I can't be more grateful for Northern State to give me the opportunity to continue what I'm doing at such an amazing facility too. They got awesome facilities here, and the coaching staff here is awesome too. So, it was just an honest mistake that got handled very, very well, and we sorted it out with the NCAA, and yeah, it all got sorted out really quick. So, just yeah, it was a mistake. Everyone's asking me, did you know? And I didn't know. I didn't try hide anything. I didn't do anything like that. You guys know me as well as anyone else does. I'm a very honest person. I just didn't think much of it because I thought I was part-time because I withdrew from the course. So, yeah, that's pretty much where it's at now. And it's all cleared, and I'm playing at Northern State in 14-degree weather in the snow. So, I mean, it couldn't get much better than that.
Living the dream, baby. I just think that really just tells a lot about adversity of life, not just football, but football does provide that adversity, whether it's injuries or losses, setbacks. This event that happened to you and the way you handle that adversity says a lot about you. And, you have a very positive mindset about that when you could be very, upset and vocal and just, not happy about the situation. But, even the way you speak about WKU, the way they handled the situation, it says a lot about your character and who you are. And obviously, it leads to us not having you on the team anymore for the rest of the season. We don't enjoy that. But it did open the door for one of your brothers, WKU legend himself, Corey Munson, got to try his leg at kicking. We had seen him kick field goals before. We had seen him be, the kickoff specialist, but I don't think, since he's been a freshman here, we've never seen him punt, not in live game action. So what was that like for you getting to sit back and watch? And I'm sure you were helping, coaching, mentoring, trying to prepare him for that situation. What was that like from your point of view, just kind of getting to step back and be almost a coach in that situation for him?
Yeah, it was, it was interesting because, he'd come up to me and I've gone, don't worry about ball placement. Don't worry about height. Don't worry about distance. Get rid of the ball. Do not get it blocked, whatever you do. So his first instinct was just kick the ball. And, we're going through practice and warm-ups, and I'm going, like, he can kick. Like, he's got a leg. And then, a miss hit here and there, and then you'd boom one, and I'm going, dude, just do that process, like, every single time. And he started getting onto him. He started, actually, he came good. And I was like, I'm sitting on the sideline going, dude, he dropped one. I can't think of what game it was where he dropped a 55-yarder that rolled into the 5. And I'm going, man. And he came off. He didn't want to go near anyone else. He's come straight to me and he goes, I should maybe try it the CFL. And I'm on the sideline. I lost it. I started laughing. And I'm like, mate, you can do it. Like, if you continue doing what you're doing, you could do it. Because he's one of them kids. He doesn't look big and strong, but he is seriously, he's a strong dude. I've never seen someone with that much leg power He could kick a touchback with wind in his face. He could kick a touchback in the snow if he wanted to. And now he can punt. He thinks he's a punter now. It's not just kickoff. He will go around and say, yeah, I'm a punter. So, no, I'm proud of him. I'm proud of the way he handled it. I think, again, you talk about, adversity with WKU. Obviously, it was a bad situation. And Coach Helton and Coach LaRussa handled it and just threw an experienced guy in who had game time. And the way that Corey handled himself, I can't speak more highly of him. He went in, did his job, didn't complain about it. I think he wanted to muff a few punts just so he could tackle someone, but he never got the chance to. So, but no, I don't know if Corey will probably watch this, but no, I'm proud of how he's handled it, and hopefully he gets that CFL contract that he's talking about.
Well, it is known that he likes to. He's practicing with the linebacker corps.
The Munson missile. The Munson missile.
Yeah.
So, but you did sit out the last 3 games of the season and the bowl game. Did that experience give you a different perspective of the game itself?
It did. The bowl game was hard for me. It's one of those ones where, sitting on the sideline watching, it's an experience because you can sort of see how it's coached and how it's played, and then it's also hard for me because I've run out with some of these guys for the last year and a half, and most of them, if not all of them, I consider my brothers and my family. And watching that bowl game was a very difficult one for me, especially seeing Lucas, who is he's my younger brother, who I got all the time in the world for him and his family. Who, especially in that last quarter where he ran out and kicked that field goal, and I'm sitting on the sideline, I'm going, I called it at the start of the game to him too. I said, mate, it's gonna happen. I said, it will happen. And he's, young kid, oh yeah. And I'm like, I'm telling you, it's gonna happen. And it happened. And I was stunned. I was standing there, and then it all hit me at once. And I turned into a sobbing mess. I couldn't control my emotions, and I ran up to him to give him a hug. And then the next one was, I got to find Helton because, I'm like, I got to find Helton. And he was waiting, and he came and gave me a hug, and, we're here for you, always here for you. You guys are your family. And that hit for me because sitting out bowl game, we've just won after being 28-0 down. And, I wish I had an impact on the game, but at the same time, I couldn't be more proud of the team. And sitting on the sideline to watch it, I was like, damn, like Caden is a bad man. Caden is one of those bad men. Like watching it drive after drive and just watching this young kid, like his first 2 drives, you could see he was in his shell. And then you could just see him like open. Like you could just see how much he grew in the space of 4 quarters. And man, oh man, he is one bad man. Like I'm sitting there going, this he's a dude. Like he can ball. Like all year he can ball, and this is his moment. And he took it. And to watch that on the sideline, man, that was an experience. Just to watch a young kid like him keep a level head, 28 points down, keep a level head, and take us to victory. Yeah, nah, you'll never experience something like that again. And to watch it on the sideline, man, I'm glad I got to watch it on the sideline. At that stage, I'm glad I wasn't punting because I was watching greatness. So, but yeah, that Lucas one hit me because I wanted to be there holding for my younger brother and be involved in that, but I didn't. So, yeah, it was different, but I enjoyed every moment of it. I got embraced the exact same way as I did when I was playing. And yeah, I'm still grateful just to be there. It was awesome.
While you were sitting out, you and I, we got to sit and watch a game together at a mutual friend's house. We watched that FIU game.
Yeah.
And I must say, I enjoyed it a lot because I had heard before then from that mutual friend, he told me, he's like, Tom knows his football. He doesn't just know his football. He knows his WKU football. He knows his all of college football and even pros. And, as I got to sit back and watch that game with you, it's interesting because you were pointing out small things in the game when they were showing replays, player tendencies, movements they were making, twitches, the ball, the rotation of the ball, and it's just all these little things that, I'm just watching the game, having a couple beers, enjoying it, but then when you start to dial in and look at all these small tendencies that, the greatest players in the world, which is, what Division I athletes are. They're a small percentage of high school athletes that ever play there, then an even smaller level, that go and play pro. So I must say there's not a question to this comment, but it was just really fun to get to watch you and listen to you watch that ball game and just share your knowledge of football, because it's very obvious that you're a very smart, cerebral, and just huge football fan in general, and especially of your teammates, that you're watching and cheering on and just coaching from the couch with us. So that was fun to get to experience that with you.
Yeah, that was a good day. Again, it was hard to watch it, but sitting back, I haven't got enough knowledge yet. I still want to learn a little bit more about the game, but I know the little things that are going to happen. And I was calling the players before it happened. I'm going, no, why is FIU doing that? They're going to pick it off. Sure enough, Upton picked it off and got a touchdown, I think. And then the punter, I know their punter, Monteith, so I knew what he was going to dish up. But no, that was a good day. Some food, had a couple of beers. Yeah, that was good, just to sort of relax and not think about everything that was going on in my head at that time.
All right, so we kind of already touched on this question or on this one, but you did get to travel to the famous Toaster Bowl in Charlotte, witness that epic comeback. Everyone has been awestruck by Caden Belkamp's play in that game, and rightfully so. He had a great game, but I found it particularly interesting to see you in the comments of some game clips saying, let's see that game-winning kick. Lucas Canario deserved his flowers for winning the ball game.
Hey, I'll say it, and I'll keep on saying it. That man is going places, and the way that, I know Helton speaks very highly of him. I know Coach LaRussa speaks highly of him too. He's a great young kid with a bright future. I just think he needed more recognition. Not saying that Caden deserved everything in the world. As I said, I'd never seen a kid do that. That's probably the most impressive thing I've ever seen on a football field. But for a young kid to take a deep breath and kick a game-winning field goal, I think that speaks highly of who he is as a person. For a young kid to do that, and you have a look at the ODU kicker. He couldn't do it. He got it blocked twice, and he's been in the system, I think, for 2-3 years now. I'm pretty sure. Nothing against him. Again, I think he's a really good kicker, but this is Luke's first season. And he drilled a game-winning field goal to win a bowl game. So I love the kid. I know he's got a bright future ahead of him. He's gonna. I hope he beats Schwetman's field goal kicking stats at WKU, just so I don't have to see Schwetman's name all over the field anymore. But no, I love that kid, and his parents. I love his family. His parents have raised such a great young man. For a kid to hold his head high like that on the field and execute. We talk about execute. Specialists need to execute. You don't have a leeway to stuff up. A quarterback has 4 goes at it. We get 1 go to execute, and he executed. And, you can't say much about that for a young kid, except for, he's going places, and I'm proud of him. And I hope he continues doing what he's doing, and I know he will.
Yeah, pretty interesting, the parallels between Corey Munson, because he kicked a game-winning field goal in a bowl game his freshman year, that First Responders Bowl in 2019. I thought his career also kind of came full circle, getting to punt there at the end. But yeah, awesome for Lucas. I was really – I enjoy getting to see you in the comments saying, y'all need to show my boy Lucas some love. And I think I didn't find the clip. I didn't find the clip for you, but I went and found somebody else that had the clip. And I was like, here, I'll put it down here for Tom. I'm going to take care of you, legend. I got you.
I got to say more.
Yeah. I say, we got to give that boy some flowers. Cause like you said, he's a heck of a player. Specialist is one of those positions on the field where generally you don't want to talk about them. If you're talking about it, usually it means they did something bad. Bad snap, bad kick, bad hold, whatever that may be. But we've got a very special group of specialists. I know that sounds redundant, but we've been very good in that department for several years. Coach LaRussa, like you have said, does a great job identifying talent, coaching them up, and it's awesome to have him around for a few more years. Hopefully, cross our fingers. Now, since the bowl game, you've touched on already. You have ultimately entered the portal, and since then, you have committed to a new program there at Northern State. What was it about their program and their school that made you decide to end up there?
In all honesty, I entered the portal and we were sort of waiting on the decision on what had happened. So I had a few Power 5 sort of schools floating around. I didn't respond to them, and I think Division 2 schools don't they didn't want to reach out because obviously they're like, no, he's not going to commit here. Who would want to come to a D2 school and all that sort of stuff? And I sort of reached out to them and I said, look, this is the situation I'm in. And obviously, and then as soon as I said something to them, something must have been spilled. Someone spilled the beans, and next minute, all the D2 schools started contacting me. So I went through obviously the contacts. I contacted Northern State with Coach Jake and Coach Mike here, and we sort of went over it. He came up with a really good plan on what he wants as a punter and what he can provide here. They just built a brand new, I think it was like $37 million facility, new locker room, new stadium. The facilities are amazing. Indoor stadium. They got an indoor bubble here, which you can go sit inside and not get freezing cold by the snow. But it was just more the way they communicated. I mean, I got here and the head coach came up and goes, I'm a hugger, give me a hug. And I'm like, all right, let's go. Like, I'm a hugger too. So just their communication and what they want. Like, obviously, I want an All-American accolade. That's my goal. And I think this school is going to help me get that. They trust me in what I'm going to do. They're going to sort of have that leeway of letting me do what I want to do, as in if I want to spiral, I want to roll out, I want to sidestep someone, I don't know. But they're going to give me that leeway. So I think the coaches here are awesome. Their facilities are awesome. I've got my own apartment. I don't have a roommate anymore, so I can just chill out by myself, which is always a good thing. And it's an amazing campus. I mean, the snow makes it look cool, but I can't wait to see it during the day because it's actually a pretty beautiful campus, and they've got lots of food here. So yeah, that's sort of the reason. The way they sold it to me was, and they're about family here as well. So I just sort of got that WKU vibe, with the head coach being an amazing sort of person, and he wanted me to get on board because obviously you want to win a championship. So, and they were telling me that punting changes it. So yeah, I decided to commit and drove from Florida because I was in Florida with my long snapper. Drove 10 hours to Bowling Green, and then drove another 16 hours to South Dakota. So I stopped along the way, but it was a long drive. When you got a little dog sitting in the front seat that wants to go to the toilet every 2 minutes, it's a long drive. But no, I'm glad I'm here, and I can't be more grateful for the opportunity they've given me.
Man, that drive, I don't know. I like road trips, so it would be fun. Going back to your time here at Western, what was probably your favorite stadium to play in outside of Houghton Smith Stadium?
That's a good question. Ohio State is obviously that's just an answer everyone's going to say. Auburn was another one. But honestly, UTEP had a really, really nice stadium in the mountains. I think it seats 50-something thousand, I think, or 40-something, I don't know.
Yeah, it's huge, yeah.
But, man, it's hot, humid, the balls fly. My first 2 punts I sort of stuffed up, which I was a bit upset about. But, yeah, that stadium was unreal. Just any stadium where I can play an Australian, really, because I can sort of scream stuff at him on the sidelines. But, yeah, I would say UTEP. UTEP Stadium was unreal.
Yeah, the Sun Bowl is a good choice, man. I like the other ones that you picked, Ohio State and Auburn, because I was there for both of those. Those were both awesome stadiums. Just that P5 environment. It's just different. It's just
they're built.
Yeah, we get used to our 10 to 15, 16,000 at the Houch. when those guys are packing 30, 40,000 in every single week,
Yeah.
at minimum, 100K at Ohio State was pretty impressive. We do have some other fan questions that we posted on Twitter. If anyone had questions, we didn't tell them who the interviewee was going to be.
Yeah.
Just these were just generalized questions. But good friend of mine, Mitchell, asked, "What about Coach Helton and WKU made you decide that WKU was the right place for you?"
I'm very, very close with Helton and Helton's family. I think he's just got that attitude where he just wants to grow you as a person and as a player. Yes, he's a football coach, but outside of football, he worries about your academics. He worries about how you're going in life. Like, are you okay? Is everything okay? Do I need to do anything? His wife is amazing too, and his kids are, they're going to be an amazing athletes. They're so tall. Um, I've never seen a set of twins at that age be that tall, to be honest with you. But just the way he handles things, he's all about family. Family is everything to him. So that drew me in because I'm a very, very, very family orientated guy back home. And he just being around him and his family, it didn't make me miss my family as much, if that makes sense. It just sort of put it at ease for me, knowing that I've got someone over here that I can rely on if I do need to talk to someone, or I do need to sit down and go my academics because I failed something, which I didn't. Never. I think I got a D once, and he got on me about that. But just yeah, he's got a great attitude towards developing you as a person, and I think that's a big thing in college football. Yeah, it's about football, but you got to think about the outside world. Football doesn't last forever. You got your academics, you've got work to go to, and he's just about developing you to be ready for that next step in life. So when you are done with college football, you already know what you want to do and where you want to go and what you want to be. So yeah, I've said a lot on this podcast, but him and the Helton family, can't speak more highly of them. I think they're amazing people. Coach Helton's dad is an amazing person too. He always comes up and says hello and shakes my hand and how you doing? And I'm like, yeah, very good, sir, very good. So I think just the Helton family in general are just awesome people to be around.
That's pretty awesome to hear, for real. Now, stepping away from football for just one question, what is some of your hobbies and interests outside of the sport?
People are going to find this funny, actually, because it's a typical Australian response. So I dealt with reptiles back home. So highly venomous snakes and crocodiles, and I had them all. I had the top 20 most venomous snakes in the world. I got photos and videos I can send you guys. Also, I've got a photo of me holding the world's most venomous snake without a hook.
The Lizard King over here.
Yeah, that's why I got my snake tattoo on my arm. But I just really enjoyed that. I grew up watching Steve Irwin, and Mum used to tell us stories because we lived in a bit of bush property. Mum used to tell stories. I'd walk home from school, and there'd be dead lizards on the side of the road, so I'd pick them up and bury them. So I'd give them like a little sacrificial burying on the side of the road, a little tombstone. So you'd walk down the street, and there'd be like 100 little tombstone rocks where I buried all these lizards. But ever since then, I've just loved reptiles. I think they're fascinating, and mum and dad mum loves them. Dad's a bit like, I'll be the one to go to hospital if you get bitten type thing. But yeah, I sort of got up and running with a reptile park, and I did educational programs. I did a lot of school stuff where I went and took photos with kids at school, like the pythons, not the venomous ones, obviously. The parents had to pay me extra if they wanted to get rid of the kid, but just crocodiles and reptiles are my go-to, or PlayStation. I love my PlayStation. I'm a bit of a nerd, so most people go, "What are you doing at night?" I'm sitting on PlayStation right now, playing some Call of Duty or Fortnite. So yeah, they're my hobbies. They're pretty interesting.
I'm gonna have to get your gamer tag because I run a little Call of Duty. I'm not very often, and I'm not very good.
Me and Daywood Davis played together. Me and Wood played every night almost.
Nice.
Yeah.
I need to. Yeah, I'm gonna have to link up for that. Now I'm gonna combine. I got a couple guys that asked basically the same question. So we got one from Adam Jepson, and then another one from David Medina. He's 859 Topper on Twitter. And they asked, "What was your favorite moment or memory while you were on the hill?" It can be whether at the stadium playing football, or even just on campus in the community? What was your favorite memory?
Tough one. Favorite memory on the hill. I can't remember the kid's name, and I apologize for this. He had a disability, and I played a basketball game with him. So we did a sponsor day where we went and actually played basketball with him and his friends. And I didn't think you'd remember me, and I think it was against could have been Liberty. I think it was against Liberty, and we lost. And he'd come up to me and grab me, and I'd turn around, and man, like I was stunned. He remembered me, and he came up and, it's okay, like next game, you're okay. He gave me a big hug, like just shook my hand and told me it's all okay, it's all right, everything's gonna be okay, and then got me to sign everything, got a photo with him. I think that was just the greatest thing to see. The impact I had on someone that had a disability, and he still remembered me and came up to me, and I was his biggest fan. And to see that, it was like, I'm trying not to get upset about it because we just lost a game, but at the same time, I'm trying to smile for this kid. And I'm like, yeah, I'll get a photo with you, and I think that's still to this day one of the best memories I've had, because it just shows that people off the field recognize who you are as a person. And I was just stunned. I'm like, yeah, no worries, man. Like, what do you need? Here, have my towel. I gave him my towel. Not that there was much sweat on it because I didn't do much, but I think that's my best memory at the Hooch. And yeah, that's the one there. And then probably outside is Lucas. That field goal from Lucas, just I couldn't stop crying, man, for probably 30 minutes. It would be in the locker room, and I'd stop, and then I'd look at him again, and I'd start crying. I'm like, can you stop looking at me? Just give me 10 minutes where you're not looking at me so I can stop crying. That's my greatest memory, to watch my younger brother kick the winning field goal and do that. Oh man, that I still cried. I'd be thinking about it, and I watched it a day after, and then when you put up the video of him, I lost it again. It's an emotional thing for me watching someone I was so close with do that. And yeah, they're my best memories playing at WKU.
Man, that's awesome, dude. Going to swap tracks just a little bit. Now, coming from Australia, was there any culture shock coming to South Central Kentucky? And what was some of that culture shock for you?
Oh man, there was so many mullets. It was ridiculous. Nah, I think the guns scared mum a lot, and it scared me a fair bit too, to be honest with you. I'm not a big tough Australian dude until I saw my first gun. And I'm like, holy crap, that's a gun. They're illegal in Australia. You can get a hunting license, but you got to go through 6 different licensings to get it. I think that was a big shock. And then the food, the small in America is large in Australia. So I went to McDonald's and I'm like, yeah, I'll get a large this, a large that. And then they give it to me and I'm like, I think you got the wrong order. And they're like, no, this is what you ordered. And I'm like, for me and what family? I don't have a family. So the food was a big shock. The mullets, I can't believe how many mullets I saw. That was ridiculous. I tried to jump on the trend for a bit and I'm like, nah, mum's gonna probably put me up for adoption. And then yeah, the guns is crazy. I just can't believe that people got them on their hips, and you walk into a store and there's a dude with a cowboy hat on, with cowboy boots on, with a big silver buckle, and he's got a revolver on his hip. I thought I was watching some cowboy movie at one stage, but nah, I mean that was the biggest shock for me. Just guns. Never in my life would I thought I'd be surrounded by that, but by guns, and here I am. Now I got to shoot one in Florida with my roommate, and I nearly blew my shoulder out. But we were aiming for clay targets, and you think I could hit one? No. So I think I'll stick to just walking around with my PlayStation remote for now and give the guns a miss.
Yeah, hopefully your sniping game is a little better on Warzone. It sounds
Oh,
like than your clay practice.
that. I like him with that.
Here's this is our last question, and this one comes from Jack Watson on Twitter. He said, "What is a funny situation that you can tell us about one of your coaches or players that would have happened maybe during a game or in a game on the sideline? Something that the average viewer, me, Tyler, wouldn't know about, but it happened. You're on the sideline in the game, whatever. Just give us one example of something that you can share that might have happened that we didn't know about."
Oh, I'll try to keep this on PG. Good question. I got a couple actually. So my first one, I can't think who it was. I'm trying to think who it was. I downed a punt, and it was against UAB at the night game, and it hit the 1 yard line and rolled back. And I've come off with my helmet off, and I didn't realize I had the adrenaline running through my head. Like, you're beefed up, all the O-line are jumping in you, and you're trying to push bodies, and someone smacks you on the back of the head, and you nearly get concussed by it. I've gone to jump and do a headbutt to someone, not realizing he had a helmet on. So I've done a flying headbutt, thinking I was like Mike Tyson trying to bite someone's ear off or something. And I cut the back of my head. No, it wasn't bad enough to like, and I sort of, wobbled around. I'm like, oh shit, like, damn. Like, and then the adrenaline started wearing off, and I'm like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Like, maybe I'll think about that next time. I might leave my helmet on. And then the other one was La Tech, where the dude absolutely smoked me. I'm talking legs in the air. I couldn't, for the life of me, I looked up and all I saw was sky. So I knew I was in trouble straight away. I look up and it's just, when you see sky and you're like, yeah, this ain't going to end good. And I lost my balance and I've landed square on my back. I went down like I was shot. So my number one rule from dad is don't roll around like a stark pig on the ground, acting like you're a girl. So I'm trying to get up. Next minute, Coach Helton's come over and you're all right. I couldn't breathe. Like, I've never been winded so bad in my life. So I'm trying to tell Coach Helton I'm okay, but I couldn't speak. So he was worried too. And I'm going, and I'm like, oh, I'm all right. And then he started laughing, and then Jess started laughing, and he's going, get up, get up, as you would to one of your boys. And I'm like, yeah, right. So I'm getting up. I look like an 80-year-old man walking to the sideline with a walking frame because I couldn't stand up straight. So I'm going to the sideline, and sure enough, all the boys have started coming over to me going, are you all right? I still couldn't breathe. So I'm like, just like, give me space. I'm like trying to smack them away. And then the camera turned to everyone, and you could see everyone laughing because obviously they figure out I couldn't breathe. So it took me like 2 minutes. And then I go back out 2 minutes later to try and punt the ball again. So I think they're the two funny ones on the sidelines that people don't really see behind closed doors.
Yeah, man, good stuff, man. We really appreciate you joining us and really just giving us a new perspective of just about what players go through and just the experience you've had on the hill, and just telling us some about your life, your story. Obviously this interview was a long time coming. You've been a long time friend and supporter of the podcast. We can't thank you enough for one, just for supporting us, two, for choosing to be a Hilltopper. One thing Tyler and I have always talked about on this podcast is, the transfer portal is a double-edged sword. We have been the recipient of many transfers in that we have loved and embraced and have been great players. And occasionally there's going to be players that transfer out. Unfortunately, you are on that list. You're transferring out, but you're still going to be a Hilltopper forever. You're going to be a friend forever. You're going to have an open invite to hit this podcast. Who knows? Maybe next year we make this a 3-way podcast with Tom on here talking some Topper football.
Hey, could happen. I'll do it in the snow.
Yeah, man. So we really appreciate you coming on. Like I said, you have been a friend of the podcast for a long time. I know this was a long time coming, and it felt like it took forever to get here. We canceled one more night last night, and I really didn't want to do that, but
In all honesty, I would have done the same. That game was too good not to watch.
There was a lot going on last night, just between that game and family stuff, and Tyler a little under the weather over there, COVID boy. But we got through it. We appreciate you coming on the podcast. I hope that in the future you'll get a chance to come back. We will surely be keeping up with you there at Northern State to see how you're doing. And obviously, if you're ever back in Bowling Green, Kentucky, I hope that I'm one of the first calls or texts that you can make and say, "Hey, buddy, what's up? Let's go grab a drink."
Oh yeah, we'll get a few beers. All right.
Yeah, we gonna go get a few, a few deep and see what trouble we can get into.
Yeah, I can't thank the WKU fans enough for the past 2 years of my life. I can't thank the coaches enough for the past 2 years of my life, and it sucked with everything that happened, and I can't apologize enough to everyone that I didn't mean it. I didn't know. It wasn't something that I was trying to hide, and the way it got handled, I can't speak more highly of WKU, but I just want to embrace the fact that WKU fans are amazing. They still stood by me. They still were standing by me. The players, I can't thank the players enough as well. I made some lifelong friends at that joint. Lucas, Corey, all the specialists, my roommate Rex, Chicken. I can go, the list goes on forever. Big Mike, Bronson, I could name Delvin. The list goes on. Blue, Tags, I can keep going forever. I've made brothers for life. And I can't be more grateful to have people in that life, in my life, because over the last 6 weeks, they've stood by me. They've helped me. They've always been there for me. They've come over for a beer just to make sure I'm all right. You guys, can't be more thankful for everything you guys have done. You've always said at the start of the year that, I got the golden boot or I've got something, and the way you commentate and the way that you guys do your podcast and speak about me after, you guys have been amazing for my mental side of things. And yeah, just to finish with the fans and, the coaches, and I hope that, you guys can win a championship, and I'll be sitting on the sidelines drinking beers for once and not having to worry about going out and fourth down and just enjoying it for once. So, but just thanks for everything. I mean, my journey, it hasn't finished yet, and it's just started here at Northern State, and I'm going to leave a legacy here for sure. And I hope I've left enough legacy at WKU just to bring that, bring people, punters wanting to come there. And, I love WKU. You guys are family to me and always will be family to me. And I wish it ended differently, but it didn't. So thanks, guys. And thanks to everyone that watches this too. It's been an awesome experience.
Man, I just want to say thank you once again for coming on the podcast. Thanks for being a great ambassador for WKU. I really do appreciate you spending the time with us. And it's just awesome to have you on here and be able to talk to you and let the fans get to know you a little bit, kind of flesh you out a little bit. But with that, I would say, Tom, Moff, who has it better than us?
Nobody.
we need him back. We need the Harburg back.
Go Tops, guys.
Go Tops.
Later.
See you.